Thanks for being with us today. It's Real Live with Miss Brenda, and I'm Miss Brenda. And today, I have two of the most special people in the world to me. On my left is Melissa.
Hey.
Hey, Melissa. And we're going to talk a little bit to Melissa first. Melissa, tell me, when did you come to the center?
In April of 2012.
So you've been here 12 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, what brought you to the center? Were you a mess?
Mostly drug addiction, but yes, ma'am, I was a complete mess. And I was supposed to die who I was, in my opinion, at that time. I didn't think that life change was possible.
And what happened?
The Lord changed my life completely and drastically.
You have a son?
I do. I have a 21-year-old son. He was 9 when I got to the center.
What was the most traumatic thing that happened to you out in the world?
There was many things, but the biggest, I would say, I guess, I found out I was pregnant, and the following day, his father was murdered. And I was 19 years old and about 2.5 months pregnant.
Wow, that had to be hard.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you with him when he was killed?
Yes, ma'am.
Boy, God had something special for you, didn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
You're an only child?
No, ma'am. I have 4 older brothers.
Does addiction run in your family?
With some, not all.
So have you just left that life behind you?
Absolutely. I have no desire.
To be honest with you, I saw Melissa when she first came in. I cannot even imagine her being the person that I met. She is just an unbelievable person. Have you ever even had a relapse?
Not since I've been at the Lovelady Center.
What was your DOC?
Xanax is a methamphetamine.
Boy, that's an ugly combination.
At that time, it was a good combination. But I'm grateful for the freedom.
So what do you do at the center?
I'm the director of intake, and I oversee the aftercare program.
When you see these girls coming in that are where you were, how do you feel for them? Would you talk to them? What do you do?
Brokenhearted for them, but it's amazing to watch them stick it out and to watch the light come on where they realize that the change is possible for them too.
One thing I've noticed about you and your caseload, you are so determined to change the women. Sometimes you almost go too far. I feel like you get mad at them if they don't change.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're not.
Because I know change is possible, and freedom is amazing.
It's way better than what you had, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So Melissa was in the center, and Melissa just has been an incredible client rep, and she got a real life going. And so let's slide Melissa over to this side for just a minute. Then what happened is when I started the center, I had a son, and my son, I'll never forget this. He said to me, he said, why can't you just be like another a normal grandmother and just sit on the porch and rock those grandkids? He said, why do you think you got to do something like this? He lived in Gulf Shores, and he was building houses. Well, when I wrote my first book, I talked about him in it, and he called me. He said, you made me sound like I wasn't even saved, Mother. And I thought that was the funniest thing. I said, no. He said, well, that is just not who I am. I'm not somebody that's interested in your center. He said, it's just not going to happen. Well, I thought for so long that my son was supposed to join me, but he just wasn't interested in it. And then one day I got that call that he said he was going to come up there for a little while. How many years has that been, Beau?
7, 8,
When,
9,
when's that little wall gonna be up?
2015.
When's that little wall gonna
Well,
be
I've
up?
never been back actually. So once I came, I've never set foot back at the beach again. Not one time.
What drew
But
you
I
to
didn't
the
really
center?
say. Let me correct something. I didn't say sit on the front porch and rock the baby.
That is what he
I
said.
said maybe like a normal grandmother, but I don't see you in a rocking chair at all.
I feel like I could use a rocking chair today, but no, you weren't expecting what we got out of this center,
No,
were you?
not at all. Not at all. And not only that, I mean, thank goodness that, all my kids have come. So my kids are here from the beach. And so I don't, it's hard to even remember that life prior to the 2015 coming back. So
What do
love
you
it.
do at the center?
Deal with problems. Mainly, I deal with issues. That seems to be my job title. But Director of Operations, I oversee the kitchen, maintenance, transportation, MANA, which is our give back program with our food, and just whatever, our emergency plans, security, just whatever I need to do.
Well, there was a real need in the center for a position like Beau has, and we did not know what we were going to do. And the day he called and said he was coming up here, we were all like jumping up and down because for so long I had felt that's what we needed Beau up here. What made you change your mind?
I actually came to open up the clay thrift store, and then when I got here, I just kind of got engulfed in everything else, and never went back.
You built the clay thrift store.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've built. Right now we're having a roof put on. What all have you got in progress now?
I oversee a lot of the special projects. We're putting a roof on the center, new windows in the center. We're redoing our dental clinic to hold, I believe it's 7 or 8 chairs now, and the surgical rooms also. We're getting ready to start a commercial kitchen so we can, like a culinary school. So that's a separate project. I mean, it goes on and on.
We got big plans.
Very big plans.
So
And my job is to implement them. Not always come up with them, but to implement them.
I am so honored to have my son work with me. Beau was divorced when he came up here, and he had no intention of getting married, and certainly not to one of my women. And what happened there?
I don't know. It just got kind of. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you how the chain of events took place, but we met and this ended up hitting it off and getting together. But it was definitely not anything that was planned.
You didn't come up here to get a woman.
No.
You were not looking at the Lovelady Center for a
No,
woman.
I was coming up here to get away from women. But it was never my intention at all. It just happened.
Well, Melissa, what happened on your end? Did nobody get struck by thunder or something?
I don't know. I always said that I would never get married. I had seen Beau come in and out of the center a few times when he would come to town. It was just never anything that crossed my mind. But when he came to town and was doing the clay thrift store, he was mentoring my son and Hunter. And he would take them out to dinner once a week, and he would mentor them. And then one night he texted me to tell me how it went. We started hanging out, and we never stopped. I never believed in getting married. I never believed in being tied down. However, Beau walked into my life and everything completely changed. He showed me what a real man was about. He showed me how I could be loved where I was never loved before. He's there for me, and he protects me, and he provides for me. And even when I drive him crazy, I know without a doubt that he loves me and he has my back.
She's very OCD. She is a cleaner. I mean, she wants everything clean, and he's a little bit on the messy side. But Beau also is an animal person, and at home he has several animals. And Melissa, how do you feel about that?
I love them. I love them. It's a full-time job in itself. But they're part of our family, and I think we make it work pretty well. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
You seriously?
Yes, absolutely.
You are happy with the animals and happy?
Yes, it's overwhelming and exhausting sometimes, but I know they need us just like we need them.
Would you get rid of any of your animals?
No.
Okay, I've got to tell you, he's got 3 monkeys. And they stay home, and he has weekend parties for them, birthday parties. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. He loves to love. He's been that way since he was a little boy.
3 monkeys, 3 dogs, a parrot,
Bearded dragon,
bearded dragon,
koi
What?
pond.
koi pond. So yeah, we've got some animals. for
Chickens.
sure. Chickens. 10 chickens.
I am thrilled to death with what he has. And I love to see him so happy with it. Beau, let me ask you something. What do you think about the program? What changed your mind about the program and about what you saw in the women's life?
Oh, it's amazing. The lives changed. I never I never expected to see the lives change like they are. When it's kind of, I love it when you see a new group of women come in, and they're beat down, they look rough, they look tired, they're thin, unhealthy, thin, and then you watch them over a period of
Terrible
a year,
teeth.
no teeth sometimes. And you watch them over a period of a year, 9 months, a year, and it's absolutely mind blowing how they change. They come in, they're looking at the floor. Before you know it, they're looking straight ahead. Before you know it, they're looking high. They're smiling. They're working on their fitness, their health. They put on weight. Sometimes a good bit of weight. They like to eat, but their physical transformation, and that's not to mention the spiritual transformation, but just them. They're turning it. You know, they go from being somebody that a lot of times are just homeless, and then they become the woman that God wants them to be, and it's their confidence. I mean, God, you can go on and on. They are different. They're just a different person that walk out and then walks in.
You see God move that much
Absolutely.
in your life.
Absolutely. The kids, they drive me insane, but it's also such a blessing to be around the kids. My office is actually beside the daycare, so I'm in and out of the daycare 4 or 5 times a day sometimes, and
What do they call you?
Bobo. Everybody calls me Bobo. 2 Bows. They always double Bow. But I don't know. It's the feeling of people being happy at the center. There's an air of when you walk in the door, and I hear this from so many people that just come to visit us. There's happiness in the air. There's joy, and that's good. It's not a gloomy place whatsoever. It's happy.
When I first started the center, Beau had, never had a problem with addiction. my family's just not addiction prone. And so Beau just was having a hard time understanding it. You don't have a hard time anymore. do
No,
you?
not at all.
What do you think is the biggest reason our women get in trouble?
You mean with what their mindset is? Well, I see a couple things. Well, one, men. I mean, men are a huge problem for a lot of these women, and you know, they're loyal women, and there's so many women that are in the center that's been in trouble that really, I believe the wrong man took them down that path. I really do. And a lot of these guys, they'll put the blame on their woman and just they'll take it. You know, I believe that. I believe a lot of them are very intelligent, and I think that and they're hard workers, and I think that they've got their brains are working, and I think in the wrong atmosphere, it's almost got them in trouble. Because, you know, I guess idle mind is the devil's workshop sometimes, and they are very strong-willed.
How many women do you work under your authority? He has a work therapy. He does the work therapy, a lot of that. How many women do you have that work under your jurisdiction?
Well, if you count the kitchen, I mean, it's about 30 in the kitchen, 10 in maintenance probably, 10 in manna, special projects, 4 or 5. So, I mean, probably 75 maybe in total.
75.
75, I think. That's just rough, but a lot.
One day last week, I called Beau and I said, Beau, I need you. Where are you going? He said, I got to go off. I'll be back. I said, Beau, where are you going? Just tell me. I got to take Miss Edwina her food, Mother. She doesn't have a way to get it. It's an older lady that lives out of the center. And I find he takes food to these people, which I'm thinking, that's not part of his job. And then I'm thinking, it's part of all of our jobs, because what happens is we love. Our capacity for love seems to be we're a notch up or something, you know.
Well, I think it's a responsibility. I mean, it is love, but I think it's a responsibility that, I mean, God put me there with a box full of food, and somebody needs the food. I mean, they need to take it to them.
He started a program because we had such an overage in our donations, and it's called Manna.
Manna.
Tell how many people do we feed a day?
Well, we have about, Manna's threefold. We feed about 30, probably roughly 30, 40 homeless people a day, and it's the same people that come breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some of them have come since we opened Manna, which this will be our second or third year. And Thanksgiving, I believe, will roll into our third year, so we're almost at 2 down. But we feed, like, some of them have been coming there since day one, like, to get their food. And that's been another interesting thing, is to watch these people, a lot of them homeless, go from being unhealthy, thin, to where there's a transformation even in those people. Just they're, you know, putting on weight. They look healthier. They look better. They're happier. So we feed that, and then we also feed families. We have about probably 250 families a week right now. We go between, well, I say 250, between 250 and 400. Summer it slowed down just a little bit. Families a week.
How many do you average in a family?
That family of 4.
So 4 times 300, that's 1,200 meals there.
12,
Is that right?
1,200 people, 3 meals a day. So that would be approximately 1,200 people a
Y'all are
week.
going to make me tired just knowing what we do. Okay, well, how many people are in the kitchen? How many do we feed inside the building?
About 550 probably inside the building, women and children.
How many meals a day?
It's almost 2,000 meals a day, about 1,700 meals a day out of the kitchen. But we,
Are y'all listening to this? This is what we do every single solitary day. And this is the man who told me in the book I made him sound like he wasn't saved.
well, kind of made me sound like a jerk.
Huh?
More like a jerk. More
Well, yeah, you were a jerk.
Well, thank you.
I mean, you didn't want to have anything to do with the center.
Well, it's not that. I mean, at the time I was just in a different direction in life, you know. But God brought all that full circle, you know. I had more, at that time I was doing really well financially, and he kept tugging on my heart, and he took that away. I mean, it was just the way it all transpired. It was
Sometimes, we talked about it yesterday in church, sometimes God will put us in a place and we want to have a way to get out of it just in case we need to do something. He puts us there. But I say we got to burn the ship. We jump off into this new territory. We got to go back and we've got to burn that ship so that there is no way to get out of it.
well, I burnt mine.
Yeah, you
Been
burnt yours,
100%.
all right.
So-
What about you? My God, the roof. We're finally getting a roof on the place.
That's been a huge blessing. When I took over, we were just patching. The roof had probably 70 years old.
It was so funny when people would come and our roof would be leaking. I'd have a pot of plants underneath the leak, and they would say, "What are you doing?" I said, "Watering the plants."
Buckets throughout the center.
Yeah, throughout the center in the weirdest place. I'm watering our plants.
But we made it work for a long time, but it definitely.
When you
Caught up with
met Melissa, did you see a woman who had been in addiction?
No, not at all. No, I have a hard time. She's so, incredibly strong-willed, but I have a hard time ever.
He said she's stubborn. That's what he just said.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say. Nice,
Strong-willed.
but I never. That is a hard thing for me to picture. But that's hard for me to picture with the majority of the women there after a time. I don't see that when I look at them.
Well, when you came to me and you were interested in Melissa, you just was interested in what?
I don't know. I mean, it just kind of all happened. I don't know. She's definitely a hard worker, focused, driven. I didn't. It wasn't to get married or to have a wife or. I just liked her and wanted to maybe hang out when I was in town, just to go eat dinner, and it just evolved. So.
Because you weren't planning on staying.
Right. My whole mindset was still going to do the clay thrift store, and I thought, well, I'll get back to work.
What about you, Melissa?
What's the question?
What did you see in Beau?
Strength. It was just an inspiration to see that somebody would step in and try to pour into my son's life when he never had a male figure. To just take time out of his life to want to go and hang out with some teenage boys that it was just mind-blowing to me. I didn't know men like that existed. I didn't care if men like that existed. But he stepped up, and he has from day one. He has from day one, even if we have issues. He tries to be a man of God. He tries to walk in integrity. He's been very good for my son.
What about for you?
It's been amazing for me. Just the fact of showing me that somebody will step up to be there for me and my child, and he didn't have to be. He's always made me feel safe. And he's always met every need I have, and most of even my wants.
Is that need, the needs that you have, is that what you believe you had filled with drugs?
Well, with drugs, I didn't care about anything. I was just out there living my life, doing what I felt I needed to do, just to get high again, or just to do somebody wrong. There was no good intentions in my life. I mean, like I wanted to be a good person, but I never thought it was possible.
Well, I'm going to have to ask you this, and I'm doing this with you being my son, and people ask me this: does her past bother you?
No. I didn't even, but I don't, and that's just, I think, something that God put in me. That doesn't really bother me with anyone. I don't see, when I see people, I don't, and I just don't see that. But I didn't even, I will say this, she recently had a pardon, and then I was in the pardon hearing, and the person they were describing in that pardon, it blew my mind. It didn't dream, like 40 arrests. It blew, it absolutely was mind-boggling to me, because I don't see that. That was the first time I probably really did get a hold of.
Yeah, it hurt to the core, because me telling him and then him hearing a judge say it was too different. I cried. Because I think I told him, but I don't think it hits home until you actually, it was a judge, a whole courtroom full of people, talking about just how terrible I was. And for him to hear that from another side it was heartbreaking.
But you got your pardon.
I did get my pardon. I got my pardon. I'm going to go back for another pardon. I didn't realize at that time the way pardons worked, and I still need to be pardoned on one more charge to.
They pardon, if I'm not mistaken, on all the felonies, but not a misdemeanor charge, right?
Well, yes.
Is that what it was?
So what happened is I tried to go and get a pistol permit. Not that I even want to carry a pistol, but I just wanted to know that I put that life behind me. And I was denied for one more charge. And now I don't want to be told that I can't. And I know that my life has changed tremendously. And I don't want to fight now till I accomplish that
But you
goal.
got the big pardon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Beau had to sit there and listen to how bad his wife had been.
Absolutely.
And it just drove you crazy.
It hurt. Not that I've ever hidden anything from him, because I think I really tell him more than he wants to know. But
I didn't grasp it.
I think just authority figures, a judge sitting on a stand telling him, it hit deeper than I think he even really knew.
Who, Beau?
Yes.
It's what it is. I mean, but I didn't grasp it, but it is not. I don't see that person. So.
I don't see that person either, Melissa.
Yeah.
I don't see that person at all.
I'm not saying that person was all bad or whatever, but
I think that person burned her ship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Burn,
Absolutely.
baby.
Absolutely.
Burn that ship.
Absolutely.
And you can't go back. How's your mother feel about that?
I think she's just grateful and relieved that today she knows I'm alive, and she knows that she doesn't have to worry. And I believe that she sees the strength in me, that giving up is not an option. Once I knew there was another side, Beau calls me persistent. What do you call me? He calls me lots of things, but giving up is not an option.
No, she doesn't stop.
Stubborn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he tells me constantly all the great things you do. I'm sure he doesn't tell you as much as he should. I do want to mention this. We had COVID, and when we had COVID in the center, we had to shut down the center, and we had to have a couple of people that stayed at the center day and night because we had such a a small workforce. And Beau and Melinda stayed 30 days,
60, I think. Was it that much?
60 days
I feel like it was 8 weeks.
without leaving the center. Melissa brought them the stuff they needed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I think it was, it was Beau, Miss Melinda, and about 10 other staff members that locked in, and I feel like it was for about 8 weeks. Melinda allowed me to come and go, but I was doing all the shopping, the bank runs. There for a season, I took everybody's individual credit cards and individual lists to Walmart, and I was in Walmart for hours. Then Melinda would make me go home and shower before I was allowed to deliver the groceries back to the center.
And we had pretty good luck with it.
Yeah, it ran pretty well. It was a completely different life.
This is how we pull together. And I am telling you, having my son there, a lot of ministers have their family in the ministry. And so I didn't want to just be known for that. And so when I brought Beau up from the beach, I said, we're just going to be here a little while. We weren't even into it a few days, and John came to me, the chairman of the board. He said, what do we got to do to keep him up here? I said, well, we just got to. My family's the first one there. They work the hardest. They stay the longest, and they get the most done. So when you marry into the family, that's that pain in the rear you got to deal with. Because, I mean, everybody looks at you. And I know that Beau has made quite an impact because the women want to see a good man. They want to see some man that's not just hitting on them. And they really want to see a man, if they hit on him, that he doesn't take the bait. And Beau has been one of those. We have several men who have been like that, and we're very thankful for it.
The men we have at the center are good.
Do what?
We've got a good group at the center right now, I feel like. Of
Women.
Men and women.
Well, is there anything you'd like to say about the center?
No, I think the center speaks for itself. I think that the women speak for the center.
Are you proud to work there?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How about you, Melissa?
Absolutely. I'm just grateful that I get up every day and I can help people that are just like me. I'm no different than the woman that's walking through the door today. I've just made different decisions over the past 12 years. But I always know that I'm one decision away from a different life.
Every one of us, anybody listening to this right now, you were one stupid decision away from messing your life up. One.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Even if you've never touched a drug, you're one dumb decision.
I think it's you said proud, but I really think it's an honor, really, to be there. You know,
Absolutely.
God could have a lot of people sitting in my shoes, and probably a lot of people that are more equipped to do it. And
More what?
More equipped to do what I do.
You know,
But
God calls us and He equips us with what we need. But the truth of the matter is, it's a matter of the heart. You've got a heart for this ministry and for helping these women. You have that heart. That's one of the things that y'all got together. You've got heart for the ministry.
Yes, ma'am.
I could just talk. Go ahead.
Well, I've watched even, so we've been married almost 7 years, and just watching even his relationship with the Lord grow, just because it gives him a deeper desire. He gets up every morning and reads his Bible and does devotions, and he's proud to do it. You know what I mean? And I know that he had a relationship beforehand because he was raised by you. But he has a desire every day to be a better man and a better human in general. And it's great to see.
Don't always achieve it.
But you
I
try.
don't always achieve it either, Beau, but we can certainly do our best.
Absolutely.
We can let the Lord lead us, right? Well, listen, I'm so glad to have you on here. I love my baby boy.
I love
And
you.
I love his wife.
I love you.
I'm just I love everybody. But I want you to know how much we appreciate you being over here. And I hope some of the things you've said speak to these people that may be watching. We
hope
need
so.
volunteers.
We do need volunteers,
So
always.
I want to thank everybody for listening today. Have a great rest of the week.